everyone. Dr. Frankie here. Hope you're all doing really well out there. And I'm so grateful for you all supporting me and this podcast and showing up week after week. It's inspiring to me and it reminds me that I'm doing exactly what I'm meant to be doing, which is to impart a lot of really useful tools and tips and skills that I have acquired over the years, both through my lived experience and also by being a clinical psychologist for over 2 decades and the CEO of a national matchmaking firm that exclusively focuses on finding quality relationships for folks in the LGBTQ plus community, and I'm a board certified sex therapist. So I'm just full of lots of tools that I love sharing here on this platform. And thank you for subscribing to my channel. If you're new to me and you want to raise your vibration, you want to learn a thing or two, and you want to have deeper, more fulfilling relationships, then you've come to the right place. And I'm so glad you're here with me. So do me a favor and subscribe by clicking that bell below, hit all notifications, and every week, as soon as I drop a new video, you will find out about it. And let's see, I just want to give you an update on me. I know people are curious about me and don't always want to just jump into material. So I recently have been dealing with lots of like growth with my company, Little Gay Book, which if you're single, make sure to get into our network. And because you never know, you could be contacted to go on a date with one of our amazing clients. And then if you're single and you want to actually find somebody to share a beautiful life with, and you're serious about finding a partner and struggling, either you're using the apps, you're swiping, finding it to be just a waste of time, or you gave up on that or never even wanted to utilize that as a tool, and you've just been single for a long time and you have a lot to offer and you want a quality partner who will complement you and be an equal to you, definitely reach out to us, littlegaybook.com. But anyway, things have been really hectic and wild there as we grow and we learn. And I make mistakes sometimes and I learn from them, but then have to get back up and figure out how to overcome the challenge and think about it from a different perspective or a different angle and all those things. So, what I realized is that I was working out at 9 a.m. every morning, and that's my place to do like mindfulness. I do strength training, cardio, resistance training, and it would help me to kind of set myself up for success for the day. But was happening was I was starting my workday at 7, 8 a.m. and then going to work out at 8:45 a.m. and returning to my desk by 10:30 a.m., which was breaking up my day and I wasn't getting the most out of my day. So I started going at 5:45, taking a 6 a.m. class, and now I find that I've got 2 extra hours in the day. I'm so much clearer in my ability to think and show up for clients, my team, family, everybody. So just saying that I think it's easy to stick, like we're creatures of habit and we stick with what feels like it works for us. And sometimes we don't even realize that we could be doing something differently that would work even better for us. So unfortunately, I came to that conclusion because I was forced to figure out how I was going to squeeze out more hours in a day so that I could actually have a greater impact on dealing with things that were coming up with my company that needed my attention. And I kept putting it off because I didn't have the time. But maybe we should start thinking about trying different things occasionally to see if there could be a better way to have like a better outcome. So that's my thought for today and something I've been reflecting on myself. So, for the topic today is what is co-regulation and why does it matter? So important. So important. So, if this is the first time you're hearing anything about co-regulation, listen carefully and hopefully you come away with some really, really good nuggets of information that you can apply to your own life, your own relationships. Emotional regulation is one of the most important psychological concepts underpinnings how we relate to others and ourselves. It determines how we react to stress, to triggers, and relationship conflict, and whether we're able to remain steady and engaged with our partner even during challenging moments. Emotional regulation is accomplished in two different ways: co regulation and self regulation. In the healthiest relationships, both partners are able to balance these techniques. But first, you have to know what they are. So, what is emotional regulation? Emotional regulation isn't something we necessarily talk about day to day, but it's core to our experience as individual humans and in relationship with others. Defined as the ability to effectively manage and respond to an emotional experience. Emotional regulation is a skill we need to be able to use pretty much every day. And when we don't or we can't, we suffer for it, and so do our relationships. To be clear, emotional regulation isn't necessarily about making yourself feel good or better. It's not about getting rid of or fixing difficult feelings, but it is about managing and working with the feelings that arise from small emotional developments throughout the day to big and intense moments of emotional activation, and learning how to deal effectively with intense feelings when they come up so we aren't too overwhelmed to function or end up behaving in ways that aren't aligned with our values. When we're very emotionally activated, we can get outside of what's called our window of tolerance or our most functional range of emotional and psychological arousal. Emotional regulation skills are how we help ourselves deal with intense emotions so we can get back inside our windows of tolerance and face our problems as effectively as possible. We may not feel good or entirely calm, but we can consider our situation or make action with a relatively clear head and make the decisions that will be best for us. There's an enormous range of skills and actions many of us rely on for emotional regulation. Some are healthier and more sustainable than others. Substance abuse, self harm, or volatile interpersonal behavior can help us emotionally regulate in the moment by getting us to a more tolerable emotional state, but may also have long term negative consequences. Working on a repertoire of healthy emotional regulation skills, like exercise in moderation or journaling about your experiences, can be a helpful project for many people. What is co regulation? Within the broader realm of emotional regulation, co regulation is emotional regulation that we do in concert with other people, whether those are friends, family members, or a therapist, romantic partners, or even acquaintances, coworkers, or strangers. Co regulation can look like calling a friend to talk about a problem, venting with coworkers after a stressful shift, rocking or cradling a baby, cuddling or being held by a romantic partner, taking a quiet walk with a friend or family member, playing a social game or doing a puzzle with others, watching a comfort film with a loved one, doing a group exercise or yoga class, paired breathing exercises with a friend or a professional, attending a group therapy session or a 12-step meeting. Some of these activities involve verbal processing, some are more somatic or involve physical connection with a trusted person. All of them rely on the fact that no matter how introverted or self sufficient we are, humans are inherently social creatures. Our nervous systems are designed to sync with the nervous systems of other people we're close to when we're dysregulated or upset. Even if we aren't directly addressing the issue that's making us feel upset, some form of connection and time spent with trusted others is often enormously helpful for regulating our emotions. How does co regulation impact relationships? A healthy person and a healthy relationship rely on some combination of self regulation and co regulation of their emotions to manage their emotional and psychological landscape. Co regulation is an important part of how people in a relationship manage their emotional regulation, both separately and the emotional content of the relationship itself. When they're able to co regulate well, it can lead to both partners feeling more connected, stable, and secure, confident they can rely on their partner, and secure in the feeling that their relationship is strong regardless of external stressors. Co regulation can be an important part of moving through conflict and managing difficult emotions about the relationship, like coming back together to reconnect after a dispute or a rupture. When one partner struggles with co regulation in some way, it can shift the dynamic of the relationship in a way that makes the relationship less sustainable. This can look like a partner refusing to emotionally process something important, being unavailable or unresponsive when a partner tries to share their emotional experience with them, or isolating themselves and rejecting connection from their partner when either they or their partner are emotionally dysregulated. Usually, people who struggle with co regulation tend to be avoidantly attached. They may have learned in childhood that connection with others is risky or will make matters worse. And so they tend to isolate from others in their life when things get difficult. Avoidant attachment can be worked on. One part of that process is learning to become more comfortable with co regulation. What happens if you don't co regulate? If healthy co regulation isn't happening in a relationship, it can have difficult consequences for both the people in it and the relationship itself. For the individuals, it may feel like nothing is being lost by self regulating instead of co regulating. After all, they're still managing their emotions. They may even feel like they're protecting their relationship by avoiding conflict or making sure their partner never sees them as messy. They may feel they're protecting themselves from being let down by their partner or that their partner will punish them or get upset with them for their feelings. However, we aren't built to solely experience self regulation. We're built to connect with others. Failure to co regulate can lead to feelings of emotional numbness and disconnection from one's partner and inhibit true intimacy with either your partner or with yourself. From a relationship standpoint, failing to co regulate leads to disconnection, loss of emotional intimacy, or failure to develop it in the first place, and can breed resentment and hurt. Your partner may feel abandoned or alone in processing their own emotions and may feel shut out or rejected in their attempts to help you regulate your emotions. Refusal to co regulate can be a big part of an anxious avoidant attachment dynamic, a cycle that can be frustrating for both partners and be difficult to break out of once it's established. How do you learn to co regulate better? Working on your skills around seeking out and tolerating co regulation can be a big difference in your well being and in your relationship, but it can feel intimidating to know where to start. Here's what you can try to become more comfortable with co regulation. If talking about feelings is difficult for you, try asking for nonverbal ways to share presence with your partner when one of you is upset, like taking a quiet walk together or cuddling. If you're someone who gets overwhelmed in emotional face to face conversations, ask your partner whether you can experiment with discussing intense feelings in other formats, like over the phone or in an email. Take time for self regulation if you need it, but set a time to come back and reconnect with your partner once you feel calmer. Say something like, I need to take a walk to get in a better headspace. Can we talk in 30 minutes? Check in with how you feel after these activities. Are you distressed? Are you activated? Do you feel calmer? Do you feel more or less connected with your partner? While it may take some time, practicing these skills can have enormously helpful long term impacts for both you and your relationship. So that's what I have for you folks. Hope that you found it helpful, and I will be right here with you next week. Kisses, hugs, take really good care of yourselves. See you then.